just in the stadium that day. The stats, you can go on and on. It's the second largest city in Indiana that day. It's almost the size of Atlanta, so think all it just in the stadium, just in that vicinity. It's more than the entire population of Iceland. I had a couple of other ones. If you took every stadium in Atlanta, then doubled it, you still wouldn't get the number. You'd have to throw in the population like Sandy Springs just to get the number. So it truly is a one-of-one event, just historic and super cool. And let's talk a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
What's interesting to me is we both are big NASCAR fans, and we both got in cars and got up to 150 miles per hour. In the Indy race, how about 240 miles per hour is pretty crazy. They go fast.
Yeah, well, Joseph Newgarden is he's a two-time defending champ. We got to catch up with him, hear what he had to say.
Nothing like the Indianapolis 500. Nothing even close. I've been to Kentucky Derby, Super Bowls, World Series. This place is 10x anything.
Like many race fans and drivers themselves, Joseph Newgarden knows the scale of the Indy 500. He might even know it better than most.
I think three-peats are hard in sports in general, especially on the biggest stage. Certainly like something like this at the Indianapolis 500. I'm focused on just trying to win the race.
Newgarden is the defending back-to-back champion of the race and is going for a third straight win at the track. But while his professional success is now known at the global scale, his success personally is known at the local scale.
So my dad was a big NASCAR fan. I used to watch the races with him in Atlanta. You're able to go to a couple, but I did not know about IndyCar. I had heard Indianapolis 500, but I didn't really know the detail of it, but now I'm all in.
Joseph met his wife Ashley while she was working as a Disney princess over a decade ago. A Conyers native, she was relatively unfamiliar with IndyCar, but as she's grown with Joseph, she's recognized the scale of what's at stake this week.
I, being from Georgia, of course, was like a Braves fan, Chipper Jones, I don't follow as much now, but yeah, I love when states and communities come behind a team. It's wonderful. And that's honestly something that I can even look forward to with Indiana culture or just race fans in general. So I've really seen him go from having marginal success, a top 15 would be a great day for him then, now to being, winning races, winning 500s, that's a huge deal. So I love being able to see him grow with that.
The Newgardens are aware that IndyCar is still growing in the South, but their love story made in Disney World still might one day have a tie at a racetrack soon in Atlanta.
Atlanta's always been close to us. If you're from Nashville, you're typically a Braves fan. Funny enough, I'm going to say this on camera, I'm more of a Yankees fan, but I love Chipper Jones, so I still followed the Braves. We've got a ton of Braves fans from Nashville, and then my wife being from Atlanta, we have a bit of a connection there, but it's very close to us. It's 3.5 hours from Nashville. Feels like a hometown in a lot of ways, and I've always enjoyed time there. So, maybe one day we'll get an IndyCar race in Atlanta. I think we would like that.
Shock, 12:45, Sunday, May 25th.
Let's go.
Right here on Fox, Indy 500 begins. Coverage starts at 10 a.m. We appreciate you joining us on this special edition of Sports Talk ADL for DJ Shockley, Victor Pinto.
Give me some.
Let's go. Have a good morning.
Get all
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your Memorial Day weekend. Want to check in with Alex Forbes. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Elizabeth. I tell you what, it's been a cool start for many here across parts of Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. 68 in Atlanta, but that does not tell you the story. 64 in Covington, 58 now in Cherokee County, 53 up in Blairsville. Earlier this morning, I had Ella J in the 40s before all was said and done. We also have some showers up towards the north. Let me take you over to Fox 5 Live Viper. And in fact, some heavier showers now. Parts of Fannin and Gilmer County. We've really watched this pulse up here in the last, say, 10 or 15 minutes. A couple strikes of lightning along with that, so technically a thunderstorm there in Murray County. Back into Alabama, there's some more where that came from. I expect some of those showers to traverse the Alabama-Georgia state line before all is said and done, but I don't expect them to make it very far beyond that. There's some more where that came from back into parts of northern Mississippi and Tennessee, but again, we're looking at that really not being a problem for us, at least through the morning hours. I think it's going to be the afternoon where we build in a bit of a storm chance. So there's what we've got there through the morning, just a couple showers north of Interstate 20. And then through the afternoon, I'm going to be watching potentially this line of storms moving in, particularly into the evening hours. Tonight, there's 9, 10, 11 o'clock. So today, by and large, the daylight hours are going to be mostly dry. It's really after sunset tonight where that rain chance really builds in. Then for tomorrow morning, still looking at some scattered showers. And then there we go for the afternoon, a couple storms mixing in. And that's going to do it for us. And then once we get to Memorial Day, unfortunately, I expect this to be the wettest day of them all, with about a 60% chance of rain, and that might be capped off with a line of storms by the time we get to Memorial Day night. But enjoy today. 70s and 80s on the way. Only a slim chance of rain. I really do think most people will stay dry. Be pretty nice for the Braves as well. Padres Braves 4:10 over at Truist Park. Looking for a high temperature around 82 right around 6 o'clock tonight with that 20% chance of rain. 85 tomorrow, 82 and wetter for Memorial Day. But Elizabeth, our best chance of rain actually comes on Tuesday at 70%. And then as we round out the week, round out the month, I'm looking for temperatures in the 80s for highs with a 30 to 40% chance of rain through the end of the week.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. I want to give you a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. It's a busy travel weekend. 2.6 million travelers are expected to travel over the next 3 days for the Memorial Day weekend. Airport officials say they have 63,000 team members working around the clock to get people through security and the gates quickly. If you're trying to fly out this weekend, officials say plan ahead and be sure to arrive early. Also, if you plan on hitting the road, there's specific times. AAA says the key is to leave early. So today from 2 to 6, tomorrow 1 to 5, and Monday 4 p.m. Well, right now we continue to follow a developing story out of Gwinnett County where officials are investigating a house fire that had turned a house into just a pile of rubble. We want to go to our Lindsay Tuman, who is joining us now live. Lindsay, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Elizabeth. Yeah, you can see the damage here behind me where the house was just completely leveled. In fact, fire crews called out assistance to actually tear down that home due to the extensive damage from the flames over fears that the remains of the structure would collapse. Now, this all started at around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. That's when Gwinnett County fire crews got the initial call about that fire from someone who saw it starting on the back porch. The flames quickly spread up the back of the home, and then as soon as fire crews got here on the scene, they say that the fire was already in the attic and rapidly spreading to the second level of the house. A family of two adults and 3 children lived inside, but firefighters say thankfully everyone had left this home by 10 o'clock in the morning. When they returned, it was to see the destruction here left behind. The family also had a dog and 2 cats, which unfortunately did not survive.
You put your heart into them and they're gone. It's like almost having children. For them to lose everything, start over, it's devastating.
Yeah, truly devastating. Again, no one was injured, but the loss of property here, the loss of those pets, absolutely devastating. And for now, firefighters say that family is staying with other family in the area and the Red Cross is assisting. In terms of this investigation, firefighters say the cause of the fire was accidental, but they believe that it might have been caused by some discarded smoking materials outside. That's the very latest here in Gwinnett County. I'm Lindsay Tuman. Elizabeth, back to you.
Lindsay, thanks so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news and weather for your holiday weekend. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful Memorial holiday weekend. We spoke to AAA about how the economy right now, there's a lot of economic concern, a lot of folks worried about, spending money and where the economy is going to be. So we talked to AAA about how this is going to impact summer travel season.
Okay, Montre Waiters from AAA, welcome. Thanks for chatting with us today about the summer travel season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so y'all got a lot of data that y'all kind of analyze every year. What are the projected trends?
Well, let me tell you. So now that we are in the warmer months, the desire to travel across the U.S. is high. So I can tell you right now, in Georgia alone, 39% of Georgians plan to take a summer vacation. Not up too much from last summer. However, a big enough number for Georgians to want to get out and make sure that they're traveling this summer. I'll tell you something that's interesting, though. We do see that around 22% plan to take fewer trips this summer, citing concerns about their finances. So 58% cite, their finances are pretty low, so they're not going to be able to, take a trip this summer, while the other 42% is worried about the economy.
Yeah, I think, economy, like you just said, I mean, I think that nails it right there. Everyone is sort of, I think we're all kind of, budgeting, where we can and kind of holding on tight. So, this is kind of a unique summer season then, I guess you would say.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Despite, the economic uncertainties, most Americans are still prioritizing vacation as an essential part of their life for summer travel. So travel is not just a financial decision, but an emotional one. So even if the economy isn't ideal at the time, if folks need to take a break from the everyday hustle and bustle of life, they will find a way to make a vacation happen. And what we found, AAA, is one way to do this to help with the budget is make sure that they use a travel agent. That person could help them with finding the best costs for travel, whether it's your rental car, your hotel, and so forth, being able to find those deals that maybe you wouldn't find on your own.
If you're thinking about getting a travel agent, maybe, okay, well, am I really going to save a lot more money if I go with a travel agent than doing it myself? What do you have any kind of insight on that?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. For instance, if you belong to membership organizations such as ourselves, AAA, if you call our travel agent, you're not paying an added fee in order to use that travel agent to help you plan. So look at different memberships with organizations. That's kind of where you save. And if you have kind of already scouted out what you want to do and where you want to go with your hotels or airline and so forth, look and see what other organizations offer travel agents assistance and just call them. Look, it doesn't hurt to call them up and compare prices. And of course, if your price is better, then, go with that. But again, along with travel agents also comes that added security of travel insurance. And a lot of times when we plan things on our own, of course, we don't have that travel insurance. So these are all things that travelers should think about prior to, their travel summer vacation.
Do you think more people are investing in that insurance this year because everyone's on a budget and it's, you don't want to lose that money. You can't afford it.
Absolutely. And think about it, if you're going international, you're paying quite a bit of money for that trip. And again, cancellations, you never know what could happen. Yes, it makes sense for folks to make sure that they invest in the travel insurance.
Airlines are offering a lot of incentives right now. Do you think that consumers are going to take advantage of that despite the economic uncertainty?
Well, right now, that's what we're seeing. Again, because, summer is just around the corner. And think about it, most folks hopefully have already made their plans because really we're looking at a couple of weeks before summer really starts, that hustle and bustle of summer. But yeah, it's just very important to make sure that we're staying alert and travelers are making sure they're keeping in contact with what's going on with their trip, whether it's airfare, making sure the travel plans, flight plans haven't changed. So yeah, I agree.
what role does gas play in all of this? I know everyone's always worried about gas prices. And again, with the economy as it is, where does that play a role in, do I go on a trip? Do I not go on a trip? Right? Is gas kind of that deciding factor, that airfare, that deciding factor usually?
Absolutely. But for right now, for the past couple of weeks, gas prices have been down, partially because of what's going on globally. And also crude oil has been very low. And so since crude oil accounts for over half of what we pay at the pumps, when we see gas prices go down, more folks are willing to hit the roads, which is what we're seeing here in Georgia, as a matter of fact, when we talk about that summer vacation. Over half, 58% of Georgians say they plan to hit the beaches for their summer vacation. And, again, most folks are going to be jumping in our cars to these destinations. So with gas prices being low, that's only a plus.
Yeah. What should consumers know going into this summer, and where to budget? Where should you cut corners, and maybe where you shouldn't cut corners?
So that is a great question. Once again, with summer being just around the corner, most folks have kind of already budgeted out. It's a great thing because 9 times out of 10, every year we see most folks travel by car. So definitely folks will be able to save money at the pumps, again, with the economy being where it is. And, our information is indicating that most folks will travel by car, so they're going to be able to save there as well. I will tell you that June and July are the peak months for when folks will travel. And our survey shows that 47% of Georgians plan to travel in June, and the other half will travel in July. And that is because you have to think about the weather at school. School is out for most kids, and that's just a peak vacation time. So bottom line, planning is key.
All right, Montre Waiters from AAA, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
All right, some good tips there as you enjoy your Memorial Day holiday weekend and all of your trips upcoming for the summer season. And when we come back, we're going to go to our Eli Jordan, who's live from PDK Airport, where they are celebrating VE Day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. Hope you're having a great start to your Memorial Day holiday weekend. Happening right now at the PDK Airport, they are actually celebrating VE Day. The 80th anniversary is actually coming up in just a couple of days. We want to go live to our Eli Jordan, who's standing by. Good morning, Eli.
Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm out here at PDK where CAF Air Base Georgia has brought out several of their planes for the public come out and look at. May 8th was the 80th anniversary of Allied victory over in Europe, and a lot of that is contributed to the air superiority we had. And joining me right now is Moreno, a volunteer at the Georgia Air Base Georgia, so pardon me. And so tell me, what all you guys have going on out here today?
Well, we have a Warbird Weekend, what we call Warbird Weekend. The CAF is the largest flying museum in the country. We have several units all over the country, and we are one of the 75, I believe, units. And our mission is to honor, and inspire, and educate through living history and flying experiences. So we take people up in the air. We have exhibitions. We have all kind of programs to, honor and inspire the future generations hopefully of pilots and maintainers and whatnot.
And today, people can come out here and ride in a plane if they
Correct.
wish, right?
Yeah, they can. We have a rides desk. They can come out and fly in a P-51, in an SBD Dauntless, in a T-34, in a T-6. We also have a museum down in Peachtree City, a flying museum down in Peachtree City, so they can also come down to Peachtree City if they cannot make it this weekend. But we'll be here today and tomorrow, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Years ago.
Can we go back to Eli? Let's see. Are we able to? All right. Nope. We'll check back in just a bit. But again, we want to show you, we've got the information. We want to pull it up on the screen for you. It's at Peachtree DeKalb Airport, 2000 Airport Road from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and tomorrow. You can ride in a vintage airplane this Memorial Day weekend. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news and weather. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins here with Alex Forbes. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day holiday weekend. I can't believe it. Summer is here.
Yeah, unofficial start of summer. And I tell you what, there's a chill in the air this morning. We're really feeling it in some spots. Up in LJ, Blue Ridge got down into the 40s this morning, still hanging on to the 50s even at this hour in Canton. 57 over there right now. We've got 68 in Atlanta, 64 in Athens, 62 in Gainesville, 61 over in Rome right now, and 67 in Noonan. So yeah, we're warming up in some spots, others not so much. 70 already in Eatonton and 71 now in LaGrange. Also looking at some scattered showers this morning, mainly up to the northern Gilmer County, southern Fannin County, getting into towards the Blue Ridge area. I've seen a couple strikes of lightning in the past 20-ish minutes, but those have faded away. So just be on the lookout for a couple of heavier showers to be expected this morning. And there's more where that came from back into Alabama. Take a look out near Interstate 59, Gadsden, over towards Jacksonville, looking at some heavier downpours. Would not at all be surprised if we see some showers sneak into places like Floyd County, Polk County, Haralson County, maybe even Paulding and Bartow here before the morning is over. And that's going to set the stage for what's to come later this afternoon. And that's going to be that system that's up near Memphis and into Arkansas. The energy from it's going to ride down to the south, and that's really going to drive our rain chances. So the rain chance today at about 30%. I really think the most of the daylight hours are going to be mostly dry across north and central Georgia. It's going to be later on this evening. We build in that scattered storm risk. And even then, I think some of that lasts into the overnight on into Sunday. Still a 40% chance of rain. Then by the time we get to Monday, a 60% chance of rain. And that, of course, is Memorial Day itself. That's likely to be the wettest of the 3 days, right? So if you're headed out to Allatoona Lake, Lake Lanier, West Point Lake, all the lakes, I think today's probably your best bet, and Monday would be the wettest day of them all. Maybe you're not going to a lake. Maybe you got a lake in your own backyard. Here's today's pool forecast. We've got temperatures in the low 80s later this afternoon, but notice how those rain chances go up into the evening tonight. So after really 7 o'clock, we'll get up to about a 40% chance of rain and a couple storms mixed in with that as well, but with temperatures in the low 80s. We'll go a little warmer tomorrow, 85, 82 for Memorial Day, 77 by Tuesday, and the mid 80s once again for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's going to take us into the end of the week, end of the month as well for many. Okay, here's the hour-by-hour forecast. You see this particular model not bringing the rain across the Alabama state line this morning, but it does bring in this risk of storms later on this evening. Moving from west to east, right? So if you're doing some nowcasting, you're looking at the radar, be looking at what's to the west of you, and that's probably going to be moving in your general direction. Notice how we hang on to a couple of these storms through the overnight hours. There's 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Possible that a couple of them are on the stronger side, and then we do the same song and dance tomorrow. There's your 40% chance of rain, and then I think the best chance of rain, as I mentioned, comes there on Monday. But for today, 82, partly to mostly cloudy. A couple of late-day storms. It will be the driest day. Some spots school is about 73. Then for this afternoon, we've got the Braves and the Padres. That rain chance, again, on the increase into the evening hours as temperatures top off near 82 today. Then for tonight, we'll get down to about 64 with a couple of these storms lasting through the overnight hours across metro Atlanta, north and central Georgia. I do think the best chance of rain comes our way on Tuesday. That's going to be at 70%. That's also going to keep our high temperatures down a bit before we warm back into the 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
The only thing that's just still in my head is that picture of the pool. I think
we can go back to it.
I'm definitely I'm thinking about the pool. Definitely thinking about the pool this weekend. Those temperatures look great for the pool.
It's a fake pool, but it'll work.
Yes, I'm thinking about a real pool.
Right.
You know what I'm also thinking about?
What's that?
Six Flags.
Yes.
They opened this weekend. I'm going to pull up some of this video. I'm actually a really big Six Flags fan.
Really?
I love Six Flags.
Oh, wow.
I love
Okay.
to ride. Look at those rides. Have you been to Six Flags?
A very long time ago. I want to say the last time I went was like a school field trip, but I drove past it a few weeks ago. I tell you what, just being a meteorologist, every time I think of Six Flags, I can't not think of the 2009 flood. Anytime somebody mentions it, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, wow. Well, it's open this weekend. It's opening every day for the summer now. So maybe, hopefully, if it's not raining, go to Six Flags. Maybe you're going to the pool. Maybe you're going to the lake.
Or maybe if it is raining, still go to Six Flags and still make fun of it.
Awesome. I actually went for the first time last year, for the first time in 15 years.
Really?
And it was.
Was it how you remembered it?
Yes,
really?
It actually was.
Okay.
I was very, very pleased.
Yeah.
We also want to give you a live look right now at PDK Airport, where they are having a World War II event this weekend. This is going on all weekend. These are warbirds that have flew in World War II over the Memorial Day, flew during World War II, and they're having this event over the Memorial Day weekend today and tomorrow. Check it out. Of course, stay with us. Take us with you on the radio. And when we come back, we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Join us at 10 o'clock for News Now. Meanwhile, y'all have a great Saturday.
You can listen to Fox 5 Live on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network. Just tune your HD radio to 107.9 HD2 FM.
Righteous Gemstones. I'd played a part in a movie called The Campaign opposite Will Ferrell, where I was this just big Southern loudmouth. And so it was a similar kind of role.
Yeah.
And my agents were trying to get him to offer it to me. So I had these 2 auditions. And I remember thinking, I should be really right for this Righteous Gemstones thing, but I just feel okay about it. But The Pit, I was like, I don't know why, but I think they might want me. I don't know. There was something in it, like a little inkling, which actually happens sometimes. It happens quite often, actually, when I get the job.
Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of know. I knew I was going to get Katie Keene, this other show that I did. It's also on Max with Lucy Hale. I kind of had a feeling that that was going to be my job. And something about The Pit, I thought, I think if I got in front of them, I think they might want me. So it just was a tape, and then it was a Zoom, and then it was another tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much about the show did you know? I mean, did you know that every episode would be a consecutive hour in one long shift? Like, did you understand what the tone and sort of what the premise would be?
We got 3 episodes to read. I got 3 episodes to read before I auditioned. And then Noah wrote this thing to the actors. And I think this was part of what made me think I would be a good match for them, was that he wrote that they really wanted this top-to-toe immersion and, like, leave your ego and bring your imagination. And I've always been someone that was kind of, like, sort of looked like the leading lady but was a little weird and outside the box, you know? And so I thought, I think maybe I can just be myself.
Yeah.
And also this top-to-toe immersion thing is something I'm kind of obsessed with in my work. If you look at any of my work, I'm always 100% doing the thing in the background.
You're committed.
Yeah, I'm always 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never just standing around watching the other guy talk. I'm always, like, folding some papers or, like, I'm always busy.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I know what they're talking about. Like, I know how they want it. And it led us into how realistic they wanted it to be. And we talked a lot with John. John talked with us a lot. He's an amazing showrunner. I think he literally wrote a thesis on show running that they teach at AFI.
Wow.
So he's just, and he really let us know how they wanted it to be, not like a documentary where the subject is identified, but more like you're inside it.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew they wanted that level of naturalism. So it gave me kind of a tone to do the work.
And so that immersion thing, is that how you were trained as an actor, or is that like something that is self-taught that you learned over the years?
Well, honestly, moment-to-moment reality is like a Strasbourg theory, right? But it's, that acting is just, living truthfully, like moment to moment. It's sort of the basis of American theater and American acting in a way. But I was doing this job judging Amy years ago. I was recurring on judging Amy, and I played a lawyer. I played a DA, and I was always in the courtroom. And I had no direction. And so I had these papers, and I would think, well, what would a lawyer be doing now? And what would the DA be doing now? And how would she respond to that thing? I spent hours and hours and hours on that show, sitting at that. And I kind of taught myself on that show. I always say you learn something from every job. And that's what I learned on that job. I learned how to really create my own business while kind of off camera, while in the background on that show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But that leads me perfectly to Dana, because from the first time that we meet her, I feel like this character is so lived in. I mean, this feels like a woman that I have seen in the hospital before, or that I have met in the hospital before. So where does that come from? I mean, were there any real reference points that you used in creating this character?
Yes, there was a woman named Kathy Garvin that is the charge nurse at County in LA, and she came to visit us on set, and so I got to talk to her a little bit, and then I was lucky enough to be able to shadow her a little bit, and that was just immensely helpful. I mean, that really brought, I think, the level of realism to the role.
Clear.
All compressions. Are we ready to call this?
You were nominated for a Gotham Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does that feel?
Wow, it just blew me away. It just really blew me away. Especially when I look at who's in the category. They've done such wonderful work, and it's a male and female category, which is really cool. I've never been nominated for anything before. It chokes me up.
Yeah.
It's like an honor. It's a true honor. I feel very complimented to be considered within this group of people.
Yeah, I remember when just to start to wrap it up, when I talked to John Wells about a year ago, and we were talking about, do you know a show is going to be a hit before it's out there in front of the public? And, do you know something is special? Do you know at the beginning if you have something? I mean, do you feel it in your bones that this is a special project?
Yeah, you do. You kind of have a sense of it, particularly once you start shooting.
Did you have a feeling before this started streaming on Max, like, I think people might...
No.
You didn't?
No, I think a lot of us were super nervous because we had loved it so much. We loved it so much that when they would show us the screeners, they would screen for us the little episodes before they aired, and if there was anything off or anything with we thought it was too slow or it was too this or it was too that, we were so freaked out as if it was all so fragile. And the show just kind of lit. You know, it just took off like, on its own. It had its own life.
Yeah, is it strange to scroll through social media and like someone's like dissecting your character? You know, like people are like, I think Dana's not going to come back because of whatever. You know, I mean, is that strange?
Oh, I don't have TikTok. You know, I'm an older gal.
Yeah.
I kind of look mostly at my page.
Yeah.
And I look at, you know, I try to see my friends through the ads, you know, so I can support, but I don't look at it too much. I think I want to be able to stay focused on the role and not get too many opinions in my head, but it's very flattering, and it's real. I receive it all as love.
That's
and
great.
So it's been really, really nice.
Well, we end the season with things very up in the air with your character.
Yes.
She has had a real crisis of confidence she's been through. And I should ask you quickly, too, I mean, since that aired, you were telling a very real story of the way that healthcare workers can become targeted themselves because there's so much frustration within the system.
Yeah.
Have you heard from people who that storyline really resonated with?
Yeah, a lot of nurses have written me on social media.
Yeah.
And then, you know, those are the biggest compliments when nurses like my work or when nurses feel seen or feel represented. And so many people have told me in the medical industry that this show's very meaningful for them and they feel seen. And I think it's been cathartic for them.
Yeah, that's great. But again, so the show ends kind of up in the air. So we're not. There's going to be no spoilers, and I'm not going to ask you questions that I know you can't answer. But the show is coming back for a season 2. So just how exciting is it? Because you've been a part of so many shows that have had multiple seasons and some that looked like surefire hits and then just didn't go.
I know.
So to get the call that says yes, you're going for a second season, what does that feel like?
Oh, it's just been incredible.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been on anything that went. I haven't been full time on something more than 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think, truth be told, I was on with 3 seasons, but I was only partially in the 3rd season. So, you know, you hope just for longevity whenever you get a show, but to have a show that's terrific, that's so well received by people, and that has such talent is so good. It's just it's a dream. It's really a dream. You know, it's not something I knew that was gonna come my way. So I receive it with a ton of gratitude.
Yeah. Well, it has been thrilling to watch you on this show. Absolutely thrilling. You are so terrific.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see what you do next, whether on The Pit or one of the many other projects that I'm sure are in the works. But keep coming back to Atlanta to see us, please. Okay?
I will.
Great to see you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, since it opened on Broadway back in 2023, we have been waiting for Shucked, the musical, to come here to Atlanta, and it's finally happened. It's really poppin'.
Hey.
Get it? Okay, thank you for a sort of a reaction. Shucked is here at the Fox Theater with the national tour, and we've got two of the stars with us. Quinn Van Antwerp, it's great to see you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Mike Nappy, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Okay, opening night just happened. Quinn, how was it to be here at the Fox Theater?
Oh, my gosh. We've been waiting to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We've had it circled on our calendars for a very long time. The Fox Theater is this historic, wonderful place that you always hear about as an actor. And to be in front of all those people and hear the roar of laughter is really like nothing else I've done.
I'm so happy to hear that. When you get to a venue like this with just so much history and the architecture so interesting, is it just fun for you guys to kind of explore and look around?
It's so much fun. Even we do a sound check when we get here and you step out on the theater and it was just like, oh my goodness, like in awe of how beautiful this place is. And then you see all the history, all the facts. And it's just so cool to be a part of this journey and be here where all these greats have played. And yeah, it's really fun.
We're here to tell you a fable. A farm to fable. Corn. I'm talking corn.
Okay, so let's talk about the musical, because you were in it when it opened on Broadway. There was a lot of buzz at the time of like, what is this thing? A musical about corn? Do you remember, like, what were the expectations for Shucked when it first came about?
Well, I remember like our first preview on Broadway, we're like, it's either going to be the like best show of the season or like we might just go out there and bomb. Like, and after that first preview, just like it took off in New York City and we became kind of like the talk of the town. You had to go see this brand new musical. It's not based on a movie. It's not based on a book. It's very rare. And to be able to tour a show like that is even more rare. So it's been so excited to bring it to all of the different parts of America.
And then to be in the show and it gets 9 Tony nominations. When those nominations came out, what was it like being part of that cast?
Oh my God, we were so excited. And I remember we had just performed on the Tonys when Alex Newell won. And there's a great video of us on the bus back to the theater, all watching someone's iPad. And then the bus just like erupted when Alex won. So it's just a very exciting experience.
Well, since you just mentioned it, is performing at the Tonys the best thing ever or the most stressful thing or both?
I mean, it's like one of those things you dream about when you get into this business. It's always a really long day because you have a matinee and, you know.
Wait, you perform before you do it?
So you go in the morning.
Oh, that's not fair.
Wow. You go in the morning and you have like a full rehearsal on stage to do a run through with an audience.
Wow.
That gets invited. Then you go do your matinee and then you wait and you get dressed at your theater. You bus up to the place, go on stage for like 7 minutes, and then you get back on the bus.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like a really like a hectic experience. It's like so well run, but it's, you know, it's one of those days that by the end you just collapse in your bed.
Whirlwind for sure. So Mike, when is the first time you became aware of this thing called Shucked?
Well, I saw it on Broadway in previews, and I remember being like, what is this musical about corn? Like, what is this? And what Quinn was saying, brand new musical, it's not based on anything, which I love, like that new work. And I saw it and I laughed so hard, and it's such a surprising show because it's very moving too. I was very moved, and I just, you know, the world is a crazy place right now, and I just remember thinking like, I needed that. It was so funny, and everyone in the audience went absolutely crazy, and it just like felt like this community. So that's how I sort of got introduced to it, and then got an audition for the tour, and here we are.
The rest is history. So that feeling of like, I needed that, now you're bringing that to people across the country at a time when we really do need just a lot of laughter and a lot of love. So how does that feel?
It's so special. I mean, and so many people have come up to us at the stage door and have said that like, hey, like, really needed this. I just needed to turn my brain off and laugh and cry and just enjoy this new musical. That's it, and it's so much fun. The music's so great. The book is awesome, and it's a real, you know, I'm very grateful to be able to be a part of this. So.
And your role, I mean, you get to have a little bit of fun on stage. Just a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Peanut, you know, Robert Horn wrote the book. There's a lot of crazy jokes, and it's really just it's a speeding train. It doesn't stop, pun after pun after pun, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I love that. Now, you are no stranger to being in shows for a long time. Talk about how many performances of Jersey Boys have you done?
I did over 3,000 performances.
Wild. Do the songs of the Four Seasons just run on loop in your head still?
You know, if I do hear the opening of Oh What a Night, I do get like a kind of like a cold sweat comes over me. But it's such great music. music. It's such a great show, and I mean, I met everybody in my life. My wife, all my friends in that show. So I'm very grateful for my.
That's amazing.
Besides
wait a minute. Your other half, your BFF, right?
I never met any Birds fans while I did that.
Well, we need to talk about that for a minute. Now
Super Bowl champs.
Oh, that hurt. That was like a knife in my heart, Mike. You don't bring up the Super Bowl in Atlanta. We don't talk about Super Bowl around here because things have not always worked out well for us.
I won't. No comment.
Thank you for at least having some restraint in that. Now, am I right? Now, okay, we talked about on Good Day Atlanta. You love wings, right?
Yes.
It says in the article you're a trumpeter.
Yes, I'm a trumpet player.
And then also you're a composer, right?
Yeah. I've written 2 musicals, and it's been a crazy time. But
so when you're on the road, are you still working on those musicals? Do you have afternoons where you're still working on?
Yeah, actually, we just did I wrote this one musical 5 years ago that we've been developing, and we just did a workshop at a college. We're always trying to keep all the irons in the fire, but every once in a while, I'll try and keep writing, and whenever I have that time. So.
That's so great. Is that something you think you'll always do, writing?
Yeah, it's just it's something there's something about it that creative process of just being in the room and writing and being around the piano and doing the things. Yeah,
that's amazing. So would you ever maybe write a musical about a handsome feature reporter in Atlanta? Am I giving you ideas?
Maybe if he was an Eagles fan, I would think about it. But
okay, well that musical is never going to happen, unfortunately. So it was a nice dream while it lasted. And you know what? If it did happen, the role of Paul Milliken would be played by Quinn and not me. And you know what? You'd get the role. And I mean, we do look so much alike. I feel shorter by the minute. Thank you for saying that, Mike. My new favorite. I don't even care about the Philly stuff. Shucked is here in Atlanta right now. Go see it. Well, good morning, everybody. It is beautiful. Look at this view behind me, the lake down there, and of course the trees. We're at Stone Mountain Park right now, getting a view like I've never gotten before, thanks to the brand new Lakeside Zip Line Adventure Course. Are we having the best morning? Yes. I have to say, I'm in good hands with this team right here who's been keeping me very calm, very cool, very collected, although we're still screaming pretty loudly when we're out on these zip lines. This is the final zip line of the course. It's almost 400 feet right across the water, and I am so excited to go. But before we do, Jahan, let's talk about the course. So explain how it works right now. So if we want to come and do this, do we book it online ahead of time? How does that work?
Yeah, best thing to do is book it online. That way you can book the reservation time that you want, and you can book, as many tickets as you want, probably up to 10 per time frame.
Okay.
And then you're going to do 10 obstacles, 7 zip lines, and 2 that go soaring over the water.
Yes. So you get, again, incredible views the entire way. How strenuous would you say this course is?
I mean, I think you need to have a little bit of ability to get through some of the challenges, but it's not bad.
No,
it's not bad,
and again, people really of almost all ages can do it. You can be as young as 10 years old. And then what is the weight limit restriction for this?
So you want to be between 45 pounds and 250 pounds.
Yeah, and I have to say a couple of things. Number one, you feel really safe when you're clipped in, because this is a system where once you're clipped, you're not going anywhere, right?
Absolutely not. You are clipped in with your little Pac-Man, and you are not going anywhere until you get to the end of the course.
Yeah, and we like that. I want to feel very cradled and protected the entire way. And also, I've done many zipline courses. I feel like the landings on this one are some of the most gentle I've ever experienced.
Absolutely. When you come in, you're going to hit the pad. It's going to help you. You're going to pull yourself up with your feet, and it's easy breezy.
Yeah, you really do. You sort of land in like a running position, and then you're just ready to go to the next obstacle or the next zip line. So again, this is the longest one behind us. Now, on the other side of the lake, you see over my shoulder, there's sort of the whole lakeside adventure facility over there with a lot of activities. So what else is available over there?
Yeah, so you can kayak, you can paddleboard. We have a pedal kayak. We have a hydro bike. And then we also have our lake tour, which is a pontoon boat. It'll take you around the lake. The captain will give you some stories and some tips while you're out here. It's about a 30-minute pontoon boat ride. But you can single kayak or tandem kayak if you have a friend that wants to come with you. It's just a great time out on the water. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just a beautiful spot here. And you were saying before, a lot of people come to Stone Mountain Park so sort of fixated either on the mountain or other things, they don't even realize the lake is here as a resource.
Yes, absolutely. The lake is here. You can fish. You can bring your own boats out. Pretty much just have fun all day in nature, and it's very relaxing, very calming. It's a great place to be.
It really is, especially in the summer, because as we know, it gets a little warm here, so it's nice to be in the water. And summer, of course, is a super busy time at Stone Mountain Park. You guys have events and special things going on all summer long, right?
Correct, yes. Yeah. We've got events. We've got Memorial Day weekend coming up. We've got the Fantastic Fourth for 7 nights, where if you want to see fireworks, this is a place you want to be. You can get out on the water. You can come see our attractions, take the sky ride up to the top of the mountain for 360-degree views.
Yeah.
Take the train around the base of the mountain.
Yeah.
There's just tons of things to do.
Yeah, there's tons to do, but I highly recommend, I said earlier, 10 out of 10 for the zipline course. Do you guys agree?
Yeah!
Okay, now wait, now let me just ask everybody, like, what is your favorite element of the zipline course, Nicole?
I think the favorite element is going across that lake.
Yeah.
It's so exhilarating. It's so free.
Yeah.
And you get to scream.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can make as much noise as you want. I agree. Going over the water is pretty thrilling. Nick, what about you? What do you enjoy the most?
I'm terrified of heights, so conquering my fears and just getting out here is my favorite part.
Yeah, this is probably actually a good way to face the fear of heights because, again, as you see right here, we are clipped in. We are not going anywhere. Now, you know, I would like to hear just how loud somebody can get around here. We have a screamer. Just like, give me a good woo-hoo. Okay, give it to him. See, that's what you're supposed to do right there. That's what you're supposed to do. And you know you'll always be in good hands again because you've got Cornelius and Nate back here, a wonderful staff of professionals who will get you across the lake, back over to the other side, and then you can relax and enjoy the rest of your day at Stone Mountain Park. So we're going to leave you for now and give you some of the sights and sounds here on the new Lakeside Zipline Adventure course. Legs are down. Here we go. Whoa! Woo-hoo!
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. Taking a live look right now at West Point, where many military graduates are about to receive their diploma. President Trump is expected to speak. Their graduation ceremony kicking off right now at 10 o'clock. We are going to keep an eye on this, and we're going to bring you this live as soon as he gets up to give that commencement address. Meanwhile, let's check in with Alex Forbes with a look at your forecast. Alex.
We're looking at some scattered showers at this early hour on this Saturday morning, and that's going to give way to some scattered storms later on today. 71 now in Atlanta, 68 in Covington, still hanging on to 56 up there in Blairsville, 63 in Gainesville, and 60 over in Canton. Let's peel back the clouds and the temperatures, and you're going to find that, yeah, we've got some storms up there on the Cleburne County line, Cleburne-Calhoun County line over across the Alabama state border. Those are going to move in towards Polk, Harrelson, Paulding, North Carroll counties here in the next 30-ish minutes. Also some slight rain up towards the north, up towards, say, the Rome area, headed in that direction. Calhoun looking for a shower here in the next little bit. Saw a storm over in Fannin County. That's slowly fading away as it moves in towards Union County. That's what I'm talking about north of Jacksonville, moving in towards northern Cleburne County now. A couple strikes of lightning with that, so I guess technically a thunderstorm. And there's more where that came from, back up into northern Mississippi, Tennessee. I expect by and large the actual rain you see here is going to miss North Georgia. Instead, our activity today is going to be fired up in the actual state. We're going to be looking at scattered showers and storms here through the afternoon, and then into the evening tonight. I think we could see a wave of storms push through. That would be a little more organized in nature. It does not go to bed entirely tonight. We will be looking at scattered showers and storms through the overnight, and then for tomorrow as well. Know how it goes this time of year, especially getting into the unofficial start of summer. I think our wettest day does come on Monday. This is Memorial Day itself. Notice some heavier showers in the mix, and then potentially a line of storms by the time we work our way towards Monday night here in the Peach State. All right, so 70s. By and large, the main temperatures later on this afternoon, I think we'll only briefly get into the 80s. 82 or so should be our high temperature today with scattered storms. Pretty nice for the Braves and Padres as well. First pitch is at 4:10. So 82 here in the city today, 81 in Carrollton, 80 in Athens, 82 in Covington, and 74 over in Blairsville. As I mentioned, through the overnight, not everything is going to go to bed. We will be looking at scattered showers and storms into the early overnight hours. Our average low is 63. 85 tomorrow, 82 for Memorial Day itself. 60% chance of rain there. That's up to 70% by the time we get to Tuesday. And then rain chances will be lower for Wednesday through Friday, but they're still there at 30 to 40% with highs in the low 80s. Elizabeth?
All right. Thanks so much, Alex Forbes. Well, we hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you're celebrating a veteran. Maybe you're looking for something to do. We want to go to our Eli Jordan, who is at PDK Airport, where they are flying the warbirds, the planes that flew during World War II. Eli, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. Yeah, of course, you'd come to me right when a jet is taxiing by, but I'm out here at PDK Airport where the Commemorative Air Force Air Base Georgia has brought out many of their planes for people to come out, check out, take some rides. Now, this is one of my favorite. This is a dive bomber. This was in the Pacific Theater. This airplane was on aircraft carriers, and it was very, very important for us to have Allied superiority over the Pacific. We've got many other ones. There's a couple down there. There's the Tuskegee Airmen trained in not this one, but another one down there. But I'm also joined here with B.J. Dalton. He is a pilot, and he's got a P-51 Mustang parked right behind him. B.J., tell me, which one do you fly?
The T-34, it's behind you, it's a little yellow bird down on the ramp.
So tell me, what are you guys doing out here today?
Well, what we're trying to do is preserve these aircraft for the American public and make sure that the newer generations realize what went on during World War II. We want to honor the men and women who served, and we want to preserve that heritage. And hopefully encourage people to serve the country in some capacity.
And so, tell me, I mean, air superiority was very integral in winning the war, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Especially if you talk to Air Force guys, then it's all about the Air Force.
And, right there we got the P-51, and what do we have right here?
This is a Dauntless dive bomber.
And this is what we see like in a lot of the historic films of the out on the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
correct?
If you saw the movie Midway, this was they were flying this airplane
And the public can come out here. You know, they go to the website and pay a little price, but they can come out here and take a ride, correct?
Oh, yes, they can. And also, we have a website for the Georgia Air Base, Georgia. They can go online. They can look at all the airplanes. They can actually book rides on the airplanes. It takes a lot of money to keep these airplanes flying. All the people that you see out here are volunteers. Nobody gets paid anything. We come out on our own. The maintenance guys work on the airplanes. A lot of them are retired Delta mechanics. They really deserve the credit for keeping these airplanes flying.
Yeah, because there's fewer and fewer of them. I mean, it's not like they're manufacturing these and they're rolling off of the assembly line.
Exactly. In fact, getting parts for them is incredible. Just scrounging up the parts for them.
Well, BJ, thank you very much, and safe flying. Hopefully, you'll get some more passengers to show around the city. And so, how long is the flight, real quick, if you're
20 minutes, but you can buy a longer ride if you wish. And the prices vary. The P-51 is the most expensive.
And I guess it's the fastest, though, right?
I'm promoting the T-34 because that's the least expensive.
Right on. Awesome. So you heard it. Get BJ in the T-34, and he'll give you a ride around the skies of Atlanta. This is the dive bomber. They're getting ready to take a ride on this one. And it's very impressive. When they start up these motors, it's louder than NASCAR, seems like. These are the real machines that helped us win World War II and establish liberal Western democracy in the world. 80 years ago, May 8th, and then August 14th is VJ Day. So come on out of here if you're an enthusiast of World War II aircraft, or just aircraft. Come on out here and check out these planes. You don't have to pay to check them out, but to take a ride, you do have to pay some money. And out here at PDK till 6 o'clock, and they're planning on being out here tomorrow until 6 o'clock, weather permitting, to observe the Memorial Day and our veterans who have sacrificed their lives to win our war in World War II and all the other wars. World War I, Korean, Vietnam, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Elizabeth, it's pretty awesome out here. The kid in me is excited.
Oh, I can tell. That looks fascinating. What a great way to celebrate Memorial Day weekend. Also, we want to take you live to West Point Academy, where many graduates are about to receive their diploma. This is a live look right now. You can see President Trump just arrived. He's expected to be the commencement speaker. He will be speaking in just a few minutes. This is actually his first commencement address.
For their commitment and courage to affirm as
We'll take you there
cows.
live when he starts talking in just a bit. Meanwhile, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Just as you have been faithful in the past, be their ever-present help in the future.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now, taking a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. We just got word that yesterday was one of the busiest travel days ever. In fact, there 2.6 million passengers are expected to travel through Atlanta during the Memorial Day travel period. So keep that in mind. If you are going to be traveling, you want to arrive 2 to 3 hours before your departure. Also, a lot of folks are planning to drive. So here's some best times to, the worst time to travel would be from today from 2 to 6, tomorrow 1 to 5, and Monday around 4 p.m. So keep that in mind if you are planning to drive. Turning now to breaking news that we continue to follow in Gwinnett County, where investigators continue to investigate how a home caught fire and turned into a pile of rubble. Let's go to our Lindsay Tuman live. Lindsay, good morning.
Good morning to you, Elizabeth. Yeah, and you can see this amount of damage here behind me is truly staggering. Now, this is what remains after that fire came through this Gwinnett County home. Then Gwinnett County and fire investigators actually called out a crew to take the home down over concerns that that the structure would collapse due to the extensive damage left behind. Now, this all started at around 11 o'clock Friday morning. That's when Gwinnett County fire crews got a call from someone who saw flames on the back porch of the home. Those flames swiftly climbed up the back of the house, and by the time firefighters were here on the scene, within minutes, they say that the fire was visible from the roof and spreading through the second story of the home. Now, a family of 2 adults and 3 children lived inside, but thankfully, firefighters say everyone had left the home by 10 o'clock that morning, so there was nobody here and nobody injured. But when that family returned, it was to see the destruction left behind. And unfortunately, the family did have a dog and 2 cats who did not survive the blaze.
All I heard was no, no, no. For you to be at work and then come home to see your house destroyed, yeah, it's devastating.
Absolutely devastating, especially when you look at the damage and just this pile of rubble here left behind. Now, firefighters say the family is staying with other family members in the meantime, and the Red Cross is assisting them, but truly a total loss here. Now, investigators also say they believe the cause of this fire was accidental, and they believe that some discarded smoking materials might be to blame. That's the latest here in Gwinnett County. I'm Lindsay Tuman. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news and weather.
Is unbelievable, and thank you very much. And your daughter is a winner also, just like everybody out there, a real winner. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to thank your Commandant General R.J. Garcia, Secretary of the Army Dan Driscoll, Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, Senator Ashley Moody, Representatives Steve Womack, Bill Heisinger, Pat Ryan, Mark Green, Keith Self, Acting U.S. Attorney Alina Haber, and very much just all of the friends. We have a lot of friends in the audience today, and I just want to thank them all for being here. We have a tremendous amount of my friends. They wanted to come up and they wanted to watch the ceremony, and they wanted to watch you much more so than me. So I just want to thank so many people here. Over the past 4 years, an extraordinary group of professors, teachers, coaches, leaders, and warriors have transformed this class of cadets into an exceptional group of scholars and soldiers. And so let's give the entire group, the entire West Point faculty, the staff, for their incredible love of you and outstanding devotion to the Corps. Let's give them a little hand. And importantly, we can't forget all of those people beaming with pride. Look at them in the audience. They're so proud. They're in the stands, so thank your parents, your grandparents, and family members who made this all possible for you. Thank you. And I think they must have done something right based on what I'm looking at. America loves our military moms and dads. Nearly 1/3 of the cadets graduating today are themselves the children of veterans. So to everyone with us this morning who served America in uniform, no matter your age, please stand so we can salute your service. We'd like to see who you are. Congratulations. Great job. Every cadet on the field before me should savor this morning, because this is a day that you will never, ever forget. In a few moments, you will become graduates of the most elite and storied military academy in human history, and you will become officers in the greatest and most powerful army the world has ever known. And I know because I rebuilt that army, and I rebuilt the military. And we rebuilt it like nobody has ever rebuilt it before in my first term. Your experience here at West Point has been anything but easy. But looking out at all of you today, I can proudly say, mission accomplished. Great job. But now you have to go on. You have to forget that. Because now you have another. It's a sad thing, isn't it? You know, you can't rest on your laurels no matter what. Just have to keep going. You take it, you take a little day off, and you go on to the rest. Because you have to have victory after victory after victory, and that's what you're going to have as you receive your commissions as second lieutenants. Each of you continues down the same hallowed path walked by titans and legends of U.S. military law, giants like Ulysses S. Grant, John Blackjack Pershing, Dwight David Eisenhower, the one and only Douglas MacArthur, old blood and guts George Patton, and Norman Schwarzkopf. Oh, so many more. They and countless other patriots before you have walked out of these halls and straight into history, and today you officially join those immortal heroes in a proud ranks of the long gray line. You know that term, so beautiful, the long gray line. Among the 1,000 cadets graduating today, 26 of you wear the prestigious Star Wreath, signifying the highest level of academic achievement. Please stand up, 26. Let's see if somebody stands who shouldn't be standing. Congratulations, it's a big honor. This class includes an incredible 4 Rhodes Scholars. Stand up, please, 4. Wow. That's tied for the most of any West Point class since 1959. That's great for. Congratulations. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to bring them right to the Oval Office. I don't want to have them go too far away from me. 8 cadets here today took on the challenge of designing their own hypersonic rocket. Oh, we can use you. Building them right now. You know, we had ours stolen. We are the designer of it. We had it stolen during the Obama administration. They stole it. You know who stole it? The Russians stole it. Something bad happened. But we're the designer of it. We're now building them, and lots of them. And earlier this year, they launched it into space, setting a world record for amateur rocketry. Can't get you in there fast enough. This class excelled not only mentally but also physically last January when more than 1,000 cadets volunteered for an 18.5-mile march on a freezing winter night. Cadet Chris Verdugo completing the task in 2 hours and 30 minutes flat, smashing the international record for the competition by 13 minutes. Where is he? Where is he? Come up here. Come up here, Chris. Get up here. Come here. That's by 13 minutes. Come here, Chris.
It's been a long 5 years, but I couldn't have done it with any of these guys. Love you guys.
That's great. Keep it going, Chris. That really is a definition of Army strong, isn't it? International. International. This class includes 513 graduates who completed Air Assault School, 70 who completed Airborne School, 8 who made it through the ultra-elite Army Diver School, among the most difficult and grueling programs anywhere on Earth. That includes the first 2 women in West Point history to complete diver school, cadets Megan Cooper and Clara Saber. Where are you? Stand up. Where are they? Wow, great job. That is not easy. Congratulations, Megan and Clara. That's a job well done. Thank you very much. Some of you achieved a different kind of distinction here at the Academy, including 7 century men who completed 100 hours of marching for disciplinary, infraction. No, don't tell me I'm doing this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like to stand up? I think I saw Chris standing up. Chris, what's going on? Well, you had one good, one not so good, right, Chris? Can't believe Chris is standing up. But we want everyone to leave here today, Chris, so you're going to be okay, because I'm going to do something with a clean slate. So in keeping with tradition, I hereby pardon all cadets on restriction for minor conduct offenses effective immediately, so you're all okay. The class of 2025 is a lot to be proud of, including your first-rate athletes and athletics. You are something. I've been watching too. I love the sports stuff. What you've done is pretty amazing. Last year, for the first time ever, Army lacrosse became the #1 ranked men's lacrosse team in the entire country. Those of you on the team, stand. That's a big honor. Stand. Great. That's a tough sport, too. That's #1 in the country. Your sophomore year, Army football beat Navy 2017. And the next year, you did it again, beating Navy 17-11 and dominating Air Force 23-3. But this year, the Black Knights fought your way into the top 20 nationally and racked up your longest winning streak since 1949 with the help of graduating quarterback cadet Bryson Daly, or as you call him, Captain America. Captain America. Stand up, Bryson. We gotta get him up here, right? Come on, Bryson. I heard he's some. Well, I came to a game and I said, he can get into the NFL, but he chose this life. You know what? I think he made a good choice. Come on up here, Bryson. Come on up. Wow.
Go Army football, shout out the Hogs, H4. Can't wait to graduate, love you guys.
I just tapped his shoulders like I hit a piece of steel. That's in good shape. There's a reason, you know? There's always a reason for success. Thank you, Bryson. At a time when other top college quarterbacks were thinking about going pro, Bryson's mind was on something else. As he told an interviewer earlier this year, I'm focused on my career as an infantry officer. That's what he wants to do. So Bryson, you did the right thing. That service satisfies. Thanks, Bryson. That's amazing. He's an amazing guy with an amazing team. Each of you on the field today is among the most talented members of your generation. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. This is one of the hardest schools to get into. And writing your own ticket to top jobs on Wall Street or Silicon Valley wouldn't be bad. But I think what you're doing is better. Instead of sports teams and spreadsheets and software, you chose a life of service, very important service, instead of stock options. And I do that stuff, it's sort of boring. Honestly, compared to what you're doing, it's real boring. You chose honor and you chose sacrifice. And instead of business suits, dress shoes, you chose muddy boots and fatigues, keeping yourself in shape. Because West Point cadets don't just have the brightest minds, you also have the bravest hearts and the noblest souls. You're amazing people. I could not be more proud to serve you as your commander-in-chief, and our country is doing well. We've turned it around very quickly. We've turned it around. I just got back from the Middle East, and I was at, as you know, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and I will tell you, they said, all three leaders, great leaders of those three nations, they all said the same thing. The United States of America is hotter now than we've ever seen it, and a year ago, it was as cold as it gets, and it's true. It's true. We have the hottest country in the world, and the whole world is talking about it. It's an honor for all of us. I cannot wait to see the glory that is still ahead. However, for the West Point class of 2025, and we're going to help you a lot because we're going to give you a nation as good or better than it ever was. That's what I promise you. All the victories that you've had together on these grounds will soon pale in comparison to the momentous deeds that you'll perform on the mission you're accepting today as a future leader of America's Army. And we have that Army geared up. We have ordered, just $1 trillion military budget, General. You know that? $1 trillion. Some people say, could you cut it back? I said, I'm not cutting 10 cents. It's another thing we can cut. We can cut plenty of others, right, Dan? We can cut plenty of other things, and you have a good man in there. It's a very different warfare out there today. Now they've introduced a thing called drone. A drone is a little bit different. It makes you have to go back and learn a whole new form of warfare. You're going to do it better than anybody else. There won't be anybody close. Generation after generation, the men and women of the Army have done whatever it takes to defend our flag, pouring out their blood onto the fields of battle all over the world. And all over the world, you're respected like nobody is respected. Our soldiers have sprinted through storms of bullets, clouds of shrapnel, slogged through miles of dirt and oceans of sand, scaled towering cliffs of jagged rock, and time again, the American soldier has charged into the fires of hell and sent the devil racing in full retreat. No task has ever been too tough for America's Army, and now that 250-year legacy of glory and triumph belongs to you. The 1,000 newest officers of the greatest fighting force in the history of the world. That's what you are, and that's what you're being thought of. Again, you are the first West Point graduates of the golden age of America. This is the golden age. Promise. We're in a new age. This is the golden age. And you are going to lead the Army to summits of greatness that has never reached before. You see that. You see what's happening. You see what's going on in the world. Each of you is entering the officer corps at a defining moment in the Army's history. For at least 2 decades, political leaders from both parties have dragged our military into missions it was never meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. People would say, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time, money, and souls in some cases? They sent our warriors on nation-building crusades to nations that wanted nothing to do with us, led by leaders that didn't have a clue in distant lands, while abusing our soldiers with absurd ideological experiments here and at home. All of that's ended, you know. All of it's ended strongly. They're not even allowed to think about it anymore. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes, while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight other countries' wars. We fought for other countries' borders, but we didn't fight for our own border, but now we do, like we have never fought before. But under the Trump administration, those days are over. We're getting rid of the distractions and we're focusing our military on its core mission, crushing America's adversaries, killing America's enemies, and defending our great American flag like it has never been defended before. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America anywhere, anytime, and any place. A big part of that job is to be respected again, and you are, as of right now, respected more than any army anywhere in the world, and that's happening, and I can tell you, you are respected like nobody can believe. As president, I am laser focused on our core national interests. My preference will always be to make peace and to seek partnership, even with countries where our differences may be profound. As you know, we're working on a lot of things right now. When I left office 4 years ago, we had no wars, we had no problems. We had nothing but success. We had the most incredible economy, the greatest, single greatest economy for a president in history. I think we're going to beat it this time by a lot, if you want to know. But we had something going on very special. But if the United States or its allies are ever threatened or attacked, the Army will obliterate our opponents with overwhelming strength and devastating force. That's why my administration has begun a colossal buildup of the United States Armed Forces, a buildup like we've never had before. Peace through strength, you know the term. I've used it a lot. Because as much as you want to fight, I'd rather do it without having to fight. I just want to look at them and have them fold. That's happening. That's happening. And I've approved a $1 trillion investment, and that will be, again, the largest ever in the history of our country. And we are buying you new airplanes, brand new beautiful planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they're stealth. I don't know, that whole stealth thing, I'm sort of wondering. You mean if we shape a wing this way, they don't see it, but the other way they see it? I'm not so sure. That's what they tell me. We have the best tanks anywhere in the world. We're going to start shipbuilding again. We're going to start ship. We used to build a ship a day. Now we don't build them anymore. We had a lot of people that didn't know much about getting things built, but that's all I've done in my life is build. We're going to have the best missiles. We already do, drones, and much, much more. And earlier this week, I think you'll like this, I announced that we are officially building all in America, made in America, designed in America. We're the only ones that could do it because we're the only ones with the great technology. We're building the Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland and to protect West Point from attack. And it will be completed before I leave office. And you know, you wouldn't think this, but our enemies are very unhappy about it. You've been hearing, you've been reading. Why are they doing that? Why? Well, we're doing it because we want to be around for a long time. That's why we're doing it. We're also restoring the fundamental principle that a central purpose of our military is to protect our own borders from invasion. Our country was invaded for the last 4 years. And they've allowed people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. Criminals walk in, no vetting, no checking, no nothing. Where are they coming from? And they were taking people out of prisons, they were taking gang members, they were taking the mentally insane and allowing them to come in, and we're getting them out of our country. We have no choice. We're getting them out and bringing them back where they came from. Have no choice. And it's not easy. It's not easy. But hopefully the courts will allow us to continue. You know, we had the greatest election victory. This was November 5th. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states. We won everything. We won 2,750 districts against 505. 2,750 against 505. We had a great mandate, and it gives us the right to do what we want to do to make our country great again, and that's what we're going to do. And on day one, I deployed our military to the southern border, and since that day, we've reduced the number of illegal border crossings, where there used to be hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country a day.
And you're just now listening live to President Trump speak at West Point graduation right now. We're going to have to take a short break. When we come back, we will be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. We're listening in to President Trump speaking at West Point. Let's go there live.
And we will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to tackle, as an example, Bryson as a man, but I don't think a lot of women want to tackle him. I don't think so. How crazy is it? Men playing in women's sports, how crazy is it? So ridiculous, so demeaning to women. And it's over. That's over. We've ended it. And promotions and appointments will not be based on politics or identity. They'll be based on merit. We won that case in the Supreme Court of the United States. We're allowed to go back to a system of merit. We're a merit-based country again today. Morale in the armed forces is soaring to the highest levels in many decades after years of recruiting shortfalls, and we had years and years. Last year was the worst of all. Recruiting shortfalls, and just last year was the worst of all. The last year of the Biden administration. We couldn't get anybody to join our police or firefighters. We couldn't get anybody to join anything. And right now, just less than a year later, we just set a brand new peacetime recruiting record. The most people joined, and we are brimming. In fact, be careful. There's somebody going to try and take your job. Be careful. You better be good. We are brimming with confidence, and we're brimming with people. We had the best recruiting month that we've had in memory. Nobody remembers anything like it. And that's all because they have spirit now. They have spirit. They have a spirit for our country. And now everybody wants to be doing what you're doing. Think of that. So it's really a great honor, I will say. And I'm pleased to report that by next week, the Army is expected to surpass its recruiting targets for the entire year, something that hasn't happened in 28 years where we've had that. So that's pretty good. And it's nice to know that you're doing something that everybody wants to do, isn't it? Really nice. I hated to hear that. During the campaign, I was hearing that you couldn't get people to enlist, but now we're getting people. It's sad because we're telling so many people, I'm sorry, we can't do it. My administration is doing everything possible to forge the most powerful military ever built. But ultimately, the task of keeping America strong and safe for the years ahead is going to belong to you. Among you are the lieutenants, majors, colonels, and generals who lead the Army for the next 10, 20, 30, and even 40 years. So as Commander-in-Chief, let me offer a few words of advice as you begin your Army careers. And I thought I'd do this, and I can make this to a civilian audience or to a military audience. It's pretty much the same. And I did this recently at Ohio State, and they really liked it. I gave them a little advice as to what I see for what you want to do, and some tips. And first of all, and you've already done it, different from civilians, they're making their decision right now. You've already made your decision. I love your decision. You have to do what you love. You have to do what you love. If you don't love it, you'll never be successful at it. And you've done this, and you really, many of you in the audience, many of you that are graduating, you come from military backgrounds, or you love the military, it's what you want to do, it's what you want to talk about. One thing I see about people that love the military, that's all they want to talk about. I'll be out to dinner, and generals, if they love their job, usually the only good ones are the ones who want to talk about it all the time. But if they talk, that's what they want to talk about. I really, very rarely see somebody who's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. You have to love what you do. In your case, the military is what you chose, and I'll tell you what, you cannot go wrong. You're going to see it too. You're going to love it more and more with time. You know, I work all the time. That's all I do is I work. Whether it's politically or before that, I was a very good businessman, in case you haven't heard, really good. But I was good because I loved it. I loved it. I learned from my father a little bit. My father was a happy guy, and all he did was work. He'd work Saturdays, Sundays, he'd work all the time, and he was a happy guy, just loved life. And I learned that. I said, you know, it makes him happy. I've seen other people that never work, and they're not happy. You gotta love it, otherwise you won't be successful. In the Army, there are a lot of different paths you can take, so follow your instincts and make sure that you take the path that you love, that you're doing something that you love within your military. You will be happier, the Army will be far stronger for it.
And again,
second is to think big. Always think big.
President Trump, as he's giving the West Point graduation speech. We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back. welcome back. I'm Elizabeth Rollins. This is News Now. We're going live to President Trump, who has been speaking at the West Point graduation. Let's listen in.
He built 11 towns. He started as a man who built one house. Then he built 2, then he built 5, then he built 20, then he built 1,000, then he built 2,000 and 3,000 a year. And he got very big, very big. He was great at what he did. You see him all over the country, still 11 towns. This was a long time ago, but he was the first of the really, really big home builders. And he became very rich. He was a very rich man. And then he decided to sell. He was offered a lot of money by a big conglomerate, Gulf and Western, big conglomerate. They didn't do real estate. They didn't know anything about it, but they saw the money he was making. They wanted to take it to a public company. And they gave him a lot of money, tremendous amount of money, more money than he ever thought he'd get. And he sold his company. And he had nothing to do. He ended up getting a divorce, found a new wife. Could you say a trophy wife? I guess we could say a trophy wife. It didn't work out too well. But it doesn't work out too well. I must tell you, a lot of trophy wives. It doesn't work out. But it made him happy for a little while at least. But he found a new wife. He sold his little boat. He got a big yacht. He had one of the biggest yachts anywhere in the world. He moved for a time to Monte Carlo, and he led the good life. And time went by, and he got bored. And 15 years later, the company that he sold to called him, and they said, the housing business is not for us. You have to understand, when Bill Levin was hot, when he had momentum, he'd go to the job sites every night, he'd pick up every loose nail, he'd pick up every scrap of wood. If there was a bolt or a screw laying in the ground, he'd pick it up and he'd use it the next day and put it together a house. But now he was spoiled, and he was rich, he was really rich. And they called and they said, this isn't for us, this business, we can do other things. Would you like to buy it back? We'll sell it back to you cheap. And they did. He bought it. He bought it. He thought he made a great deal, and he was all excited. But it was 15 years later. He lost a lot of momentum. Remember the word momentum. And he lost everything. It just didn't work. He lost everything. And I was sitting at a party on Fifth Avenue one night, a long time ago. And yet the biggest people in New York, the biggest people in the country, were all in that party. They were all saluting each other, how great they were. They were all telling each other, I'm greater than you. Gets me really, gives you a headache sometimes. But they had all these people that telling their own stories about how fantastic a cocktail party. And I looked over, and I was doing well. I was invited to the party, so I had to be doing well. I was very, very young. But I made a name in real estate, and I looked over, and at the party, sitting in the corner all by himself, nobody was talking to, was Mr. Levin. He had just gone bankrupt, lost everything. He lost everything, his home, everything. And I went over and talked to him because he was in the real estate business, and I love real estate. I said, hello, Mr. Levin, how are you? He said, hello, Donald, it's nice to meet you. He knew me from being in the business. I said, so how's it going? He goes, not well. It's really not going well, as you probably read. It's been a very, very tough period for me, son. I said, so what happened? It's just anything you can do? He goes, no, there's not a thing I can do. He said, I'll never forget. He said, I've lost my momentum. I just didn't have it. I used to have it, but I lost my momentum. So it's a story I tell. And you have to know when you have the momentum, but sometimes you have to also know when you've lost the momentum. And leaving a field sometimes, leaving what you're doing sometimes is okay. But you gotta have momentum, but you have to know that momentum is gone. You have to know when to say, it's time to get out. And it's a very sad story. I remember that story so well, like it was yesterday. Fifth, you have to have the courage to take risks and to do things differently. Eisenhower again was threatened with court-martials as a young officer for advocating a new doctrine of tank warfare. Billy Mitchell was thrown out of the Army for pioneering the use of air power. They said, what do you mean air power? Don't be ridiculous. People willing to try and do things differently. It's never going to be easy for them, but they're the ones that are going to really do the important things. They're the ones who are going to make history. So don't be ashamed and don't be afraid. This is a time of incredible change, and we do not need an officer corps of careerists and yes men and people that want to keep it going the way it's been, because it changes rapidly, especially what you're doing. Because believe it or not, you're in a business profession where things change as rapidly like warfare, the type of warfare. Unfortunately, we're getting to see it with Russia and Ukraine, and we're studying it, and it's a very terrible thing to study. But we're seeing the different forms of warfare. We're seeing the drones that are coming down at angles, and with speed and with precision. We've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it, and we're learning from it. But your profession changes very rapidly. You've got to be at the top of it. You've got to be right at the head of the needle. We need patriots with guts and vision and backbone who take personal risks to ensure that America wins every single time. We want to win our battles. You know, I defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. They told me it would take 5 years. And the general that did it, you know that story, was named Raisin Cane. His name is Dan Cane, but his nickname was Raisin Cane. I said, your name is Raisin Cane. I love that. Is that a nickname? That's what they call me, sir. I love you, General. I think you're the guy I'm looking for. I want to know a guy named Raisin Cane, and he is now the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and is a highly respected man. And we defeated, think of it, ISIS. They said, how long in Washington? Sir, it will take 4 years to defeat them, maybe 5. And maybe we won't, because they're all over the place. And then I met a man that said we could do it in 3 weeks, and he did it in 3 weeks. And that's why he's the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff right now. And we did things that nobody thought were possible. We've had great military success. When you have the right leader and you have the right people, we have the right people, you're going to have tremendous success. Sixth, never lose your faith in America and the American people, because they're always going to be there for you. I went through a very tough time with some very radicalized, sick people, and I say I was investigated more than the great, late Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? So you gotta fight hard, you gotta never give up, and don't let bad people take you down. You gotta take them down. A lot of bad people out there. Those people, you have to figure it out. But you also have a lot of great people. Finally, hold on to your culture and your traditions, because that's what makes something really great. And that's what's made the Army great. The culture and the tradition. Whether we're talking about a battalion, a business, a sports team, or even a nation, history has shown that in many ways culture is destiny. So do not let anyone destroy the culture of winning. You have to win. Winning is a beautiful thing. Losing, not for us. Not for us. Not for everybody here. If it was, you wouldn't be here. From the earliest days of our nation, this supreme tradition of American military service has been passed down from soldier to soldier and generation to generation, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Graduating today is Cadet Ricky McMahon, Ricky's great-grandfather. Stand up wherever you are, Ricky, because you're going to like this. Ricky's great-grandfather served in World War I. His grandfather served in World War II. And his uncle, father, and mother all graduated from West Point. Where is Ricky? In 2004, when Ricky was just a little tiny boy, who would think about that, Ricky, a little tiny boy? His dad, Lieutenant Colonel Michael McMahon, made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation in Afghanistan. Today, Lieutenant Colonel McMahon rests not far from here in the West Point Cemetery. Last year, 2 decades after losing his father, Ricky placed a gold chip from his dad's 1985 class ring into a crucible along 87 other rings were with it of past West Point grads that were melted down to forge those now worn by the class of 2025. Do you all know that? Do you know what you wear? I want one. Ricky, I want one. Each of you will carry Michael's memory with you always as you continue the legacy he gave you and gave you something that would be so proud. He would be so proud. He is proud. As he looks down. To Ricky and his mom, Jeanette, you embody what this place is all about. And I know Michael, he's up there, he's smiling broadly, so proud. He's so proud of you today, you know that. And he's a man that couldn't be, and he is a man that couldn't be more proud. And I want to I just love that story. Everybody's ring, they're going to remember you, they're going to remember your family, and most importantly, you're going to remember a great tradition. It's a great tradition of West Point and of winners. Thank you very much. It's great to meet you. Thank you. You can sit down. You want to come up? If you want to come up, come on, come on. Come on. That's nice. Yeah, handsome guy. They're all good looking here. I don't know what's going on. The whole crowd is beautiful. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank my mother. I'd like to thank my family. And I'd like to thank G3, Go Gophers.
These are good-looking people, I'll tell you, General. What's going on over there? Look like all a bunch of male models. I can't stand it. For 2.5 centuries, our republic has endured because of heroes like Michael have laid down their lives for America, and because young people like all of you have picked up the banner of service and carried forward the flag of freedom from Lexington to Yorktown, from Gettysburg to Sicily, and from Inchon to Fallujah. America has been won and saved by an unbroken chain of soldiers and patriots who ran to the sound of the guns, leapt into the maw of battle, and charged into the crucible of fire to seize the crown of victory, no matter the odds, no matter the cost, no matter the danger. All over the world, our soldiers have made sacred the ground where they shed their blood and showed their valor. From Seminary Ridge to San Juan Hill, Bellawood, Omaha Beach, Leyte Gulf, Ardennes Forest, Chosen Reservoir, all over, and even a place called Pork Chop Hill. And in all of those battles and so many more, some of the best, brightest, and bravest have come from right here at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, one of the great fabled places anywhere in the world. America's Army has never failed us, and with leaders like the West Point class of 2025, the Army will never fail. We will never let you down. And over the last week, I had the honor of speaking to the heads of many countries. And they would say, 2 weeks ago, they said, the 8th, they said, "Sir, we're celebrating the victory today of World War II." And I said, "Wow, that's nice." Then I'd call another one, unrelated. Sir, we're celebrating the victory of World War II. Then I called President of France on something also unrelated. He said, sir, we're celebrating our victory over World War II. I said, whoa, what happened here? We helped them a lot. And I had this. Russia talked to Putin about ending that terrible war that's going on. And he said they're having a big victory march. And they did lose, in all fairness, 51 million people. But they were all celebrating. The only country that wasn't celebrating was the United States of America. And I said, isn't it amazing? We were the ones that won the war. And we were helped. We were helped. In some cases, we had to help them. But we were helped by some of the nations. And we were strongly helped by a couple of them. But every one of them was celebrating. They had Victory Day. They called it Victory Day in Europe, Victory Day all over. And we weren't even thought about. Nobody had a Victory Day. And so I named that special day and another special day from now on as a holiday, but a holiday where we work. Because we don't have enough days. We're going to be having so many holidays, we're not going to be able to work anymore. But I named it for World War II, and a separate day in November, as you know, for World War I. I said, you know, all of these countries that participated in the war are celebrating, but the greatest country of them all, and the country that won the war, nobody even talked about. And so we're going to be talking about it too from now on. And I think you'll appreciate it. We won the First World War, we won the Second World War, and you know where we won them from? Right here at West Point. West Point won the war. You won 2 world wars, and plenty of other things, but you won't think of it. We don't want to have a 3rd World War, but we won the First World War, we won the Second World War right here from West Point. And that's something. And we're going to be talking about it. You know, they can talk about it. And in some cases, as you know, they didn't do too much to help. They were ground down. But they were celebrating victory. No, we're going to celebrate victory because we're the ones that won that war. Standing before you today, I know that you will never stop. You will never quit. You will never yield. You will never tire. You will never, ever, ever surrender, never give up. Remember that, never give up. It's another little factor I could have added. Never, ever give up. Raise your right hand. I pledge I will never, ever give up. You can never give up. You can never give up. If you do, you're not going to be successful because you'll go through things that will be bad. You're going to have great moments. You can have bad moments. You can never give up. Through every challenge and every battle, you'll stand strong, you'll work hard, you'll stay tough, and you will fight, 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 and win, win, win. So I want to just congratulate you all. I'm going back now to deal with Russia, to deal with China. What's that all about? That's a and to get you lots of victories. So we're going to keep winning. This country is going to keep winning, and with you, the job is easy. I want to thank you all. Congratulations to the class of 2025. God bless you all. Incredible people. Thank you very much, everybody.
And just now you're listening live. President Trump speaking at West Point graduation, telling those graduates to win, 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 and fight, fight, fight. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news and weather. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins and this is News Now. On this Memorial Day weekend, as we remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, we also remember those who sacrificed mental health in their experience as being a first responder and being in the military serving our country. We're joined now with Shiloh, who is, let's restart that. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Shiloh Crane. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins and this is News Now. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. Want to check in with Alex Forbes with a look at your forecast. Alex.
Yeah, good morning, Elizabeth. Some scattered showers as expected now in North Georgia, particularly north of Interstate 20 early on this Saturday morning, I guess late morning now. Looking over towards Paulding County, finding some rain over towards Polk County up into Floyd County. They're just light showers, maybe one little pocket of some moderate rainfall north of the Interstate 20 in Douglas County. But there is some more back into Alabama that's trying to push our way. It's kind of falling apart as it does so, though. How so? I want you to know that scattered showers are going to be possible over the next couple of hours, but I expect them to be falling apart as they move in. Here's how it looks on the hour-by-hour forecast. You see, it's not really picking up on what's going on over in Alabama, so I expect to see a little more in the way of activity there. And then maybe a more organized storm threat tonight pushing in from Alabama. Some heavy rainfall, some strong wind gusts, some strikes of lightning going to be possible with this, maybe even a low-end severe thunderstorm, but I'm not expecting much beyond that. On into tomorrow morning, still looking at some scattered showers and storms, and then on into tomorrow afternoon, you guessed it, entering this summertime pattern here with temperatures in the mid-70s, low 80s down on the south side. On into Memorial Day itself, waking up to scattered showers and storms. Through Memorial Day itself, you guessed it, more scattered showers and storms. And then once we get into the evening hours, I think we could see a more organized storm threat here. This is going to be Memorial Day at 11 p.m. Line of storms pushing in towards North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Now, if you're looking for the best day to be outside, I really do think it is going to be today, particularly during the afternoon hours. We'll be looking at temperatures in the 70s and eventually into the 80s. A 20% chance for some of these storms to roll through. Sunset tonight is at 8:38. That means I expect the sun to be up for the duration of the Braves game. First pitch is at 4:10. Temperatures topping off in the low 80s today, looking for 82 here in the metro area. Up towards the north, we could stick around in the 70s. Rome, Canton, Gainesville, Blairsville, 80s down on the south side, 86 in LaGrange, 81 in Athens, 82 in Covington, 83 in Peachtree City. Our average high is 83, so this is about where we should be for Memorial Day weekend. 40% chance of storms tomorrow. That's up to 60% for Memorial Day itself. You saw that line trying to push through. That's going to be up to a 70% chance of storms by the time we get to Tuesday there. By the time we work our way towards the end of the week, the end of the month, we'll be hanging on to a rain and storm chance with highs in the low 80s. Elizabeth?
All right. Thanks so much, Alex Forbes. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend. Maybe you're celebrating a veteran. Maybe you are looking for something to do for the Memorial Day weekend. We want to go to our Eli Jordan, who is joining us live from PDK Airport, where you can get a chance to ride in a World War II airplane. Eli, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. Yes, I'm out here at DeKalb Peachtree Airport, where Air Base Georgia has brought out their commemorative airplanes. They do this, throughout the year, but, coming out to PDK, it's once a year, but this is the 80th anniversary of the Allied victories over in Europe. And so, this is extra special this time. We got a good crowd out here. Parents bringing their kids out to the playground at PDK, but also they got a treat with these cool airplanes. And this is the P-51 Mustang. Really cool. And I got Rosie the Riveter with me, Robin Rosenzweig. And Robin, tell me, you volunteer with Air Base Georgia, correct?
Yes, I do.
And your granddad was a B-17 pilot,
Yes,
correct?
my grandfather was a B-17 pilot during World War II, flew 36 missions.
And so, just tell me, this is kind of like close to your heart here, isn't it?
It's a big passion. That's why I joined the Commemorative Air Force, is to get up close and personal with these beautiful aircraft and to understand what my grandfather and the other guys that flew during that time, what they experienced.
And fewer and fewer World War II veterans are with us today and stuff. And a lot of the generations, the younger generations haven't quite instilled what all the sacrifices America went through to win World War II. And tell me, how important is a day like today for people to come up and touch it, some tangible memories of war?
It's incredibly important, and that's why I like being a part of community engagement, is getting out in the community, which is why I dress as Rosie the Riveter. It draws people's attention, and they get to come out and see the aircraft and learn some history and get up close and touch to it, like this young man here is in the aircraft getting a little bit of a tour. This is so incredibly important. World War II was the greatest generation, and we are just incredibly grateful for their sacrifice and their contribution to our country.
And you can come out here and take a look at the airplanes.
Yes.
But also you can take a ride. It costs a little bit, but you can take a ride if you like, correct?
We have 5 different aircraft, and they have 5 different pricing levels. But yes, you can schedule a ride. You can do one today. We've got a couple of slots today. Otherwise, we are at Falcon Field in Peachtree City, and we do rides throughout the year. You can check our schedule online at our website and sign up for a ride.
So, do you have a favorite?
Well, I like the SBD.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
But the Mustang, with my grandfather having been a B-17 pilot, this is very close to my heart because the Mustang escorted the B-17s into Germany.
There's something different about the props cranking up and
Yes.
that, the pistons popping and all that. It's a lot different than, even though jets are cool, but I mean, this is kind of like, NASCAR in the sky.
Absolutely, and this is a Ferrari compared to the SBD, which is a bit like a Mustang or a Camaro. So.
Awesome, yeah, and it's just, not only that, we have wonderful veterans who sacrificed a lot and put their lives on the line and actually lost their lives, but we also had some great evolution in mechanics.
Yes.
And during World War II,
yes,
and it basically gave us, a very slim advantage to win the war, didn't it?
Absolutely, yes, they did.
Well, this is really cool. Elizabeth, I have to say that this is a really cool spot for me to hang out. I like to check out the airplanes and all that. I've always been an airplane buff. The dive bomber over there, they had a little power issue, and they're kind of working on it. But they flew these planes. Most of the planes are out giving tours right now, and they fly these from Peachtree City over here to PDK for this. And this is the awesome P-51 Mustang, and it took off, and I tell you, you can tell it is a lot faster than the other planes, and it's a lot tighter, but brisker, much tighter sounding motor. But the dive bomber was really cool when it's cranked up. It's really, really loud and popping, and you can kind of get that feel of what it may have sounded like, out on the aircraft carrier over in the Pacific. But it's real interesting to be out here. There's a lot of people out here, and they plan on going on until 6 o'clock today, and try and repeat it again tomorrow, weather permitting. So they can't be flying planes and stuff in bad weather. But check out the weather. You got till 6 today, and then check out the weather tomorrow to come back out here and check out some of these really awesome World War II vintage aircraft. Elizabeth?
What a fascinating assignment. Thank you so much, Eli, Jordan. Yeah, we were just listening in to President Trump speaking at the West Point graduation. They were talking about World War II. He was encouraging all of these military men and women that are now graduating as they go off and now will serve our country on this Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins and this is News Now. Hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. This is the start of summer. I spoke to AAA, who says that the economy is actually taking a big role, having a big impact on summer travel. Take a listen.
Waiters from AAA, welcome. Thanks for chatting with us today about the summer travel season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, y'all got a lot of data that y'all kind of analyze every year. What are y'all, what are the projected trends?
Well, let me tell you. So now that we are in the warmer months, the desire to travel across the U.S. is high. So I can tell you right now, in Georgia alone, 39% of Georgians plan to take a summer vacation. Not up too much from last summer. However, a big enough number for Georgians to want to get out and make sure that they're traveling this summer. I'll tell you something that's interesting, though. We do see that around 22% plan to take fewer trips this summer, citing concerns about their finances. So 58% cite, their finances are pretty low, so they're not going to be able to, take a trip this summer, while the other 42% is worried about the economy.
Yeah, I think, economy, like you just said, I mean, I think that nails it right there. Everyone is sort of, I think we're all kind of, budgeting, where we can and kind of holding on tight. So, this is kind of a unique summer season then, I guess you would say.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Despite, the economic uncertainties, most Americans are still prioritizing vacation as an essential part of their life for summer travel. So travel is not just a financial decision, but an emotional one. So even if the economy isn't ideal at the time, if folks need to take a break from the everyday hustle and bustle of life, they will find a way to make a vacation happen. And what we found, AAA, is one way to do this to help with the budget is make sure that they use a travel agent. That person could help them with finding the best costs for travel, whether it's your rental car, your hotel, and so forth, being able to find those deals that maybe you wouldn't find on your own.
If you're thinking about getting a travel agent, maybe, okay, well, am I really going to save a lot more money if I go with a travel agent than doing it myself? What do you have any kind of insight on that?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. For instance, if you belong to membership organizations such as ourselves, AAA, if you call our travel agent, you're not paying an added fee in order to use that travel agent to help you plan. So look at different memberships with organizations. That's kind of where you save. And if you have kind of already scouted out what you want to do and where you want to go with your hotels or airline and so forth, look and see what other organizations offer travel agents assistance and just call them. Look, it doesn't hurt to call them up and compare prices. And of course, if your price is better, then, go with that. But again, along with travel agents also comes that added security of travel insurance. And a lot of times when we plan things on our own, of course, we don't have that travel insurance. So these are all things that travelers should think about prior to, their travel summer vacation.
Do you think more people are investing in that insurance this year because everyone's on a budget and it's, you don't want to lose that money. You can't afford it.
Absolutely. And think about it. If you're going international, you're paying quite a bit of money for that trip. And again, cancellations, you never know what could happen. Yes, it makes sense for folks to make sure that they invest in the travel insurance.
Airlines are offering a lot of incentives right now. Do you think that consumers are going to take advantage of that despite the economic uncertainty?
Well, right now, that's what we're seeing. Again, because, summer is just around the corner. And think about it, most folks hopefully have already made their plans because really we're looking at a couple of weeks before summer really starts, that hustle and bustle of summer. But yeah, it's just very important to make sure that we're staying alert and travelers are making sure they're keeping in contact with what's going on with their trip, whether it's airfare, making sure the travel plans, flight plans haven't changed. So yeah, I agree.
what role does gas play in all of this? I know everyone's always worried about gas prices. And again, with the economy as it is, where does that play a role in, do I go on a trip? Do I not go on a trip? Right? Is gas kind of that deciding factor, that airfare, that deciding factor usually?
Absolutely. But for right now, for the past couple of weeks, gas prices have been down, partially because of what's going on globally. And also crude oil has been very low. And so since crude oil accounts for over half of what we pay at the pumps, when we see gas prices go down, more folks are willing to hit the roads, which is what we're seeing here in Georgia, as a matter of fact, when we talk about that summer vacation. Over half, 58% of Georgians say they plan to hit the beaches for their summer vacation. And, again, most folks are going to be jumping in our cars to these destinations. So with gas prices being low, that's only a plus.
Yeah. What should consumers know going into this summer and where to budget? Where should you cut corners and maybe where you shouldn't cut corners?
So that is a great question. Once again, with summer being just around the corner, most folks have kind of already budgeted out. It's a great thing because 9 times out of 10 every year we see most folks travel by car. So definitely folks will be able to save money at the pumps. Again, with the economy being where it is, and our information is indicating that most folks will travel by car, so they're going to be able to save there as well. I will tell you that June and July are the peak months for when folks will travel. And our survey shows that 47% of Georgians plan to travel in June, and the other half will travel in July. And that is because you have to think about the weather at school. School is out for most kids, and that's just a peak vacation time. So bottom line, planning is key.
All right, Montre Waiters from AAA, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
Some great advice there. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins and this is News Now. This Memorial Weekend, as we remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, we also remember those who also sacrificed when they get home from war, from being a first responder. I'm joined now with Shiloh Crane, who is a campaign founder of the PTSD Awareness Campaign. Tell us about this, Shiloh.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yes, so as a retired military officer who served 3 tours overseas and a current law enforcement officer, I've seen recently that there's a drastic need for some awareness involving mental health and PTSD, both with veterans and with currently serving first responders around the state of Georgia.
Well, so this initiative is called Heels on Wheels. So where did the idea come from? And, you know, how long is this going to take you guys?
Well, this actually started about a year ago, where personally I myself was looking for some help with some mental health issues I was having. And a good friend of mine and a co-founder in this project, Corey, he recommended that I attend a mental health recovery organization called the Motorcycle Relief Project. And that organization provides some mental health treatment for veterans and first responders by utilizing therapy and motorcycles together. So after I attended that week-long treatment, I guess, counseling session, I saw huge improvement both in myself and with my family and my marriage. And I decided that I wanted to do something myself to kind of give back to that organization and help others that I'm currently working with or served with in my time with the military. So I put together the idea that Corey and I are going to ride our motorcycles from Atlanta to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. And along the way, we're going to interview any veteran or first responder we come upon about current issues with mental health or past issues they've had, ways it's affected their job, their family, and treatment options that they found available to them. And we're doing all this in an attempt to raise enough money for the Motorcycle Relief Project to sponsor an entire week of therapy for a group in 2026.
Well, there's obviously a need for this type of campaign. What is it that people don't know or should know about PTSD and its impact on veterans and first responders?
The biggest thing I see is most people believe that PTSD is primarily from a singular event happening in either a veteran or a first responder's life. And what they're not taking into account is just the cumulative effect of the stress and the job that first responders and veterans often have. And this cumulative stress has numerous mental health issues, and it has numerous physical health issues that I believe are just not being addressed by the departments. And I don't believe most people in society realize, that what these effects are having over time on people.
What kind of impact do you think this campaign is going to have as y'all travel 10,000 miles across country?
Well, I don't know what it's going to have, but I can tell you already we've had through our Facebook page, Heel on Wheels, Atlanta to Alaska, we've already had, 100 people reach out to us on the page, thanking us for content we're posting about mental health awareness, asking us where they could possibly talk to someone or get treatment. And we've already raised a good bit of money towards our goal for next year. So I think, truthfully, people are wanting to help with this issue. And I think a lot of people who currently are working as first responders, I think they are very happy that this is starting to get out and reduce some of the stigma against mental health that they face every day in their job.
So our viewers that are watching right now that are interested, maybe if they want to get involved, how can they help?
Well, primarily it would be awesome if you follow our Facebook page, Heel on Wheels, Atlanta to Alaska. And if you would consider hitting the link that's on that page to the Motorcycle Relief Project, that's a complete nonprofit foundation. If you could make a small donation, we're not taking a single penny of any donations for this trip. We are just trying to spread the word on mental health and get as much help to people that need it as possible.
Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers that they need to know about this campaign?
I just want to say thanks to all the people that have already supported. We have had a couple small companies in our area here in Georgia that have jumped out and helped support this cause. And it's just refreshing to see the community come around wanting to help the first responders and the veterans. And I want to say thank you to all those people.
And we want to say thank you, Shiloh Crane, for being here. Thank you for your service and what you've done for our country. And thank you again for joining us and explaining about being the campaign founder of Heel on Wheels. Good luck with everything. We'll circle back soon.
Take care.
And welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. I hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you are remembering a veteran. Maybe you're celebrating veterans. Maybe you are congratulating maybe some future veterans. In fact, you can take a live look. Donald Trump speaking at West Point this morning to those graduates. We want to take a listen to what the message he had for them earlier today.
Countless other patriots before you have walked out of these halls and straight into history, and today you officially join those immortal heroes in a proud ranks of the long gray line. You know that term, so beautiful, the long gray line. Among the 1,000 cadets graduating today, 26 of you wear the prestigious star wreath, signifying the highest level of academic achievement. Please stand up, 26. Let's see if somebody stands who shouldn't be standing. Congratulations, that's a big honor. This class includes an incredible 4 Rhodes Scholars. Stand up, please, 4. Wow. That's tied for the most of any West Point class since 1959. That's great. 4. Congratulations. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to bring them right to the Oval Office. I don't want to have them go too far away from me. 8 cadets here today took on the challenge of designing their own hypersonic rocket. Oh, we can use you. We're building them right now. You know, we had ours stolen. We are the designer of it. We had it stolen during the Obama administration. They stole it. You know who stole it? The Russians stole it. Something bad happened. But we're the designer of it, and we're now building them, and lots of them. And earlier this year, they launched it into space, setting a world record for amateur rocketry. Can't get you in there fast enough. This class excelled not only mentally but also physically last January when more than 1,000 cadets volunteered for an 18.5-mile march on a freezing winter night. Cadet Chris Verdugo completed the task in 2 hours and 30 minutes flat, smashing the international record for the competition by 13 minutes. Where is he? Where is he? Come up here. Come up here, Chris. Get up here, Chris. Wow. Come here. That's by 13 minutes. Come here, Chris. I want to see this guy. Wow. Say something. Come here. Come here.
It's been a long 5 years, but I couldn't have done it with any of these guys. Love you guys all. Thank you.
Wow. That's great. Keep it going, Chris. That really is a definition of Army strong, isn't it? International. International. This class includes 513 graduates who completed Air Assault School, 70 who completed Airborne School, 8 who made it through the Ultra Elite Army Diver School, among the most difficult and grueling programs anywhere on Earth. That includes the first 2 women in West Point history to complete diver school, cadets Megan Cooper and Clara Sabu. Where are you? Stand up. Where are they? Wow, great job. That is not easy. Congratulations, Megan, Clara. That's a job well done. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
And again, that was just minutes ago. Within this last 30 minutes, President Trump giving the commencement speech to those graduates at West Point Academy, wishing them the best as they move on to continue to serve this country. What a really cool way to kick off your Memorial Day weekend. Congratulating all of those now military men and women. Turning now, we want to, maybe you're celebrating a veteran or remembering a veteran. Caitlin Pratt is up in Canton this morning where they were putting flags down at the Georgia National.
I'm Fox 5's Caitlin Pratt. We're at the Georgia National Cemetery in Cherokee County on a very special, significant day. A ceremony going on as we speak right now. I want to show you, though, a really powerful image here. As I turn the camera, you can see what people were up to this morning. The Department of Veterans Affairs hosting this Memorial Day wreath-laying ceremony. It's going to be accompanied by a moment of silence, the playing of taps, but this morning, volunteers came out to put a flag on each and every grave here at this site. Currently has approximately 25,000 graves. Gives you an idea of just what an impressive effort this was this morning. Now, this cemetery designed to accommodate a total of 33,000 full casket grave sites. This cemetery has been open since April 2006. It's 775 acres, and if you've never been, it's really a special place to be. It's so quiet, so meaningful, especially if you have a family member, a friend who has served our country, has passed away. This property donated by the late land developer, philanthropist, and also Atlanta World War II veteran, Scott Hudgens. So really putting this property to good use, significant use. And we're going to bring you some highlights from the special ceremony happening now here on Fox Local.
All right, Caitlin Pratt reporting from camp this morning. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. All right. Yep. And good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins, and this is News Now. Hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you're traveling. 2.6 million people are expected to travel through Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport over the weekend. So if you are flying, make sure that you arrive at least 2 to 3 hours before that flight. Also, we know that a lot of folks will be driving this weekend. If you plan to drive, there's some key times when to get on the road and when not to get on the road. All right, so worst times to be on the road today between 2 and 6, tomorrow 1 to 5, and Monday 4 p.m. And again, keep that in mind if you are traveling this weekend. And hopefully the weather's going to be okay for you if you are traveling. Let's check in with Alex Forbes with a look at your holiday forecast. Alex, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Elizabeth. Temperature is certainly warming up. I think if you're traveling in around the metro area right now, you're okay. But if you're headed west into Alabama, going to be running into some problems not only today, but over the next couple of days. And that includes further west as well, Mississippi and Tennessee. Okay, 74 in Atlanta right now, 75 in Covington, 79 over in Eatonton, 73 in Athens, 65 in Gainesville, 63 in Blairsville, and 68 over in Rome at this hour. All right, here's what we've got going on Fox 5 Live Viper. I alluded to it earlier. We had showers and storms across the state line in Alabama. They are pretty much evaporating over the North Metro right now. Just a couple of raindrops north of Cobb County over towards Cherokee right there on the Fulton-Forsyth line. I would be shocked, and I mean shocked, if they make it to Lake Lanier. All right, back across Alabama, I have a funny feeling these showers are going to meet the same fate of the ones over the North Metro right now. They will make it over the state line, but they will be falling apart as they do so, and we're going to be left with just a couple of raindrops here through the morning hours with a more organized storm threat by the time we get to the evening. And I think what you see back out near Arkansas will track its way towards north and central Georgia later on this evening, but it's going to take a while to do so as we track it here over the next several hours. So the name of the game is going to be scattered storms this weekend. Today's rain chance is going to be at about 30%. That's up to 40% for tomorrow and then 60% for Memorial Day itself. As for today, sunset at 8:38. And as we track this now through the afternoon, we are going to be looking for scattered showers and storms. And this is kind of getting into that summertime pattern. Now, meteorologically speaking, it's not fully that with a 20% chance of rain with temperatures getting into the low 80s. Braves this afternoon also looking pretty nice. First pitch at 4:10 against the Padres. We will continue to warm through the game. Maybe we can win game 2 after giving away game 1 yesterday. There's an idea for you. Elsewhere across the metro, 79 in Smyrna, 79 in Sandy Springs, 78 over in Alpharetta, 81 in Conyers, 81 in Stonecrest, and 82 in Riverdale. Then for tonight, we're all down into the mid-60s once again. 64 in Atlanta, 63 in Sandy Springs and in Duluth, 62 in Lawrenceville, 62 in Snellville, and 64 in South Fulton this evening. You add it all up, you get your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. Again, looking at increasing rain chances here over the next couple of days, 40% Sunday, 60% for Memorial Day itself, and then 70% by the time we get to Tuesday. And then for the back half of the week and really the back half of not the back half, but back couple of days of the month, we're going to be looking at rain chances sticking around, not as high as they are on Tuesday. And we're looking at highs in the 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Elizabeth?
All right. Thanks so much, Alex Forbes. All right. Hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Want to check in with Eli Jordan, where you can go and actually experience what it's like to be on a World War II warbird or airplane. Eli, good afternoon.
Hey, Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm out here at PDK, where Air Base Georgia has brought a lot of their commemorative airplanes out here. Several of them are up in the air right now, where the public takes a ride. And I got a passenger, John Picard, just recently got off this PT-19. The PT-19 is Tuskegee training airplane. John, how was it?
It was an absolute blast. It was incredible to get up there. Got a great view of Stone Mountain, flew around, did some cool maneuvers. Couldn't have a better time.
And so what compelled you to come out here and check it out?
About a year ago I came out here and I saw this group doing this, and I didn't have a chance to do it then, but I said, well, next time they come, I'm absolutely coming out again, and I did, and just a wonderful time. And so,
it's Memorial Day weekend. And World War II, we're having fewer and fewer surviving World War II veterans. And is this a good way to remind the public, of the sacrifices and commitments we made, during World War II?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the Commemorative Air Force does an incredible job keeping the history alive and keeping these planes alive. And it's a really tangible way for people to connect with these airplanes and the men and women who did those wonderful things.
And so what have you gotten out of this experience?
I had a lot of fun, and two, it was a really great way to think about the history.
And so you guys, like you said, you just came out to the park. PDK actually has a decent park out here for the residents who live around it, and then it's right there, right underneath the tower. And so these kids come out to the park, kids and parents, they're getting a treat. And that's basically how you discovered it, right?
It's exactly it. We come out here to check out the playground, bring my 6-year-old daughter out here, have a good time, see the planes and the helicopters, and just enjoy a nice day.
Well, awesome. And I think they're doing this on tomorrow, weather permitting, until 6 p.m. And so if you can't make it out today before 6, check out the weather tomorrow, see if you can make it out there. And again, we're at the PDK airport where Air Base Georgia has brought out a lot of their commemorative airplanes commemorating the air superiority the Allies gained during World War II and ultimately won the war, establishing liberal Western democracy amongst the Western world, and gave us the world that we have today. So this is very, very important pieces of equipment out here that helped save us from the Axis powers in 1941 and 1945. Elizabeth?
Thanks so much, Eli Jordan. What a cool assignment. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news and weather.
You guys.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Rollins here with Alex Forbes. I can't believe it. It's Memorial Day weekend, which means it's the official start of summer, or unofficial start of summer.
Yep.
The official start of summer is coming, and so is hurricane season.
Right, June 1st. So that's going to be next weekend, next Sunday. And look, it's not like we get into hurricane season. It's like, all right, step on the gas. Here we go. Typically, according to climatology, hurricane season gets off to a relatively slow start, right? Whenever we're looking for the strongest storms, that's going to be late August, September, October. But that's not to discount, what we can see in June. And a lot of times those are tropical systems and they could come close to the Georgia coast.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be something we're definitely. How many storms are we looking at?
Yeah. So I can pull this up here. So this is the Colorado State forecast from that was released in early April 3rd. The NOAA forecast was just released, and they have pretty much similar numbers. But the Colorado State forecast, 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. Now, a lot of people look at that and go, okay, well, those numbers are a little high. They're a little above average. But look, if it was 1, 1, and 1, I would say it only takes 1. And that's something that I think we really need to remember as we work our way into the season, that it only takes 1. Yeah, you can have 4 major hurricanes, but if one of those hits the U.S., again, 1 is the magic number.
Okay. And yeah, they came up with the list of names, didn't they?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if we're able to
We
see
do.
that list. Ooh,
So
okay.
here's your list of names. So the way this works is every 6 years, a different list comes around, and sometimes you get names that are retired. Okay. So we have a couple of new names inserted in there from the last time this list was used, which I believe was 2019. Okay. And I believe Ferdinand is the new name on the list for the year.
Ferdinand. Okay. All right.
No, there's no D, so it's
Fernand.
Fernand. Yes.
Fernand.
Yes.
Yes. All right. It goes from A to W.
Yes, and notice some letters are left out,
Yeah.
right? Because we only have a couple of names for those letters, right? Like there's no X storm. You only have a couple names that start with the letter X, so we tend to leave those out. And something that is just kind of interesting is, we only have so many I names, and I names historically are the most retired.
Okay.
That's not a coincidence. It's because we typically hit that letter when we get to the most active time of the season, and those storms are more likely to become, significant storms. I've got something else that's kind of interesting. So the Colorado State forecast breaks down the probability of landfall based on location.
Whoa,
and I think the one thing that sticks out to me is a 56% chance of seeing a major hurricane track through the Caribbean.
Whoa, okay.
So that's something we're going to be keeping an eye on.
For sure. And you guys are working on, obviously, a big special coming up.
That's right.
So,
May 31st at 7 p.m. here on Fox 5. We've covered a lot of bases with this special. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy found somebody here in North Georgia who's been helping out in Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene.
Wow.
Part of my trip to Texas from last month is featured in this in terms of being with some of the smartest minds in tropical meteorology there. Joanne Feldman's taking a look back at Katrina. This is the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A lot to unpack, and we're going to do it the 31st at 7 p.m.
Wow. Thanks so much, Alex Forbes. And before we go, obviously, there's no hurricane this weekend. It's going to be what can folks expect as they head into their holiday weekend?
Yeah, well, here, let me just pop up the 7-day forecast real quick. 82 today, 85 tomorrow. Be on the lookout for some scattered showers and storms really each day this week. I think today's probably going to be the driest day of the holiday weekend, and Monday's probably going to be the wettest. And if you think Monday's the wettest, just wait for Tuesday, because that's probably going to be even wetter here across north and central Georgia. Keep the umbrella handy, keep the rain jacket handy. If you see a storm, please don't hold a big metal rod up in the air. Just rely on the rain jacket. And let's get into summertime, shall we?
Yes, shall we? Well, thank you so much for joining us.